Alright, hello everyone, what is up? It is me, AlbyMTG. Welcome to round 1, game 2 of the Content Creators Community Cup. This time we are going up against another fellow YouTuber, ExoticMTG. Fantastic channel, go ahead and check him out if you guys haven't seen him already. He does a bunch of like pack opening, product opening, that sort of stuff. Great stuff. And I'm ready to play some games. So our first one went really well. If you guys haven't seen that one, of course, go ahead and check out the previous video. But this time we're going up against ExoticMTG, hoping for some more good games here. And this hand is kind of interesting. So we don't have a mana dork to ramp out the Rhythm or the Ferox or any of our just like bigger creatures in general. So if ExoticMTG is on Drakes like our last opponent was, things could go pretty bad, but I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it here in hopes that we hit our third land. We're playing 24 lands in this deck. I think if we can hit our an additional land, we should be in pretty reasonable shape, but it's all going to come down to whether or not we can hit that land. But I think Cinder Barons is probably our turn 1 play no matter what. If we draw Llanowar Elves as our first draw, then maybe it gets interesting as to what we play first, but yeah, Gruul Spellbreaker means we're just going to go ahead and play out the Cinder Barons. And ExoticMTG will crack the Evolving Wilds on our end step. And again, I want to say ExoticMTG from... I watched Bronson's games a little bit earlier. I think his deck is like a just full-on Jeskai control list. So we hit a land... I think... So, yeah, I think I'm just going to lead with Mountain. Maybe he'll think that we're having mana troubles and we don't have the green in our deck yet. That could be like, that's like the only reason to do it like this. He doesn't have double blue, which means he can't Sinister Sabotage this. He could do something like an Ionize or... I don't know, some other thing like Quench gets it here, anything like that. So I think because Rhythm of the Wild is a more important card in this matchup, we're going to go ahead and lead on the Gruul Spellbreaker and see if maybe he'll counter that. It looks like he doesn't. I think we're just going to go ahead and give it haste. I think that's just the best route. That way it doesn't just die to a Lava Coil next turn, or if it does die to a Lava Coil next turn, we at least got some value out of it. We were able to at least do some sort of attacking with it. And then tap land, still fine. We'll go ahead and get in here again with our Spellbreaker. And I think maybe just Incubation Druid this time. The Incubation Druid gets countered, then it's one counter spell that they don't have for the Rhythm of the Wild or the Nullhide Ferox. So we're just going to go ahead and land the Incubation Druid here. And then next turn, that could set us up for a Skargan Hellkite, or if we hit untapped land, we could do something else potentially. We do hit the untapped land, so we could do something like Rhythm of the Wild plus Gruul Spellbreaker. The fact that he hasn't really done anything is kind of scary. Maybe he's sitting on white cards, or I guess I do need to keep in mind the fact that he could have like triple blue, triple red would give him access to Niv Mizzet. So if he has a Niv Mizzet, that would be pretty scary. I think what I'm going to go for here is the Rhythm of the Wild, since he hasn't countered anything yet, but I am going to play out the Forest beforehand, and then we'll go ahead and slam the Rhythm of the Wild. This still lets me cast Gruul Spellbreaker if Rhythm resolves. And Spellbreaker has Hexproof on this turn, so I think it's a pretty safe bet that the Spellbreaker's at least going to get in this turn. He's going to go for the negate here, decent little play, and we'll follow that up with a Spellbreaker and attack for 6. We'll go ahead with haste again, and I'll attack. So that attack for 6 is nice because then next turn he's down to 8. He really needs to find some sort of a sweeper here. And it looks like he doesn't have the Niv Mizzet either. He's just going to go ahead and hit us up with a good game. I'm assuming that means we can probably just Incubation Druid here. I'm going to go for... Yeah, I guess we're going to go for the Adapt here. And we'll just say good game. And we'll attack him with everything. And get there. Seems like we got there. Alright. Not too bad. So we got there on game 1. A little bit of a questionable hand. We didn't have any of our mana dorks, and we really needed to draw an additional land, but we ended up drawing our lands, which was very nice. So that gives us game 1 over ExoticMTG. ExoticMTG just messaged me saying apparently the game doesn't want me to put up a fight. Alright, so this will get us into game 2 here with ExoticMTG. There is no like sideboarding here or anything like that, so it's just going to be again us versus ExoticMTG here with the same 60 that you just saw me with, same 60 you just saw him with, and we'll go ahead and get this started. Oh, okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he changed his emblem, or he changed his character. What the heck just happened? He changed his character from a Johnny to Karn, and then I can see Sarkin up here. I don't know what's happening. So weird. So this hand's kind of like awkward. We have the Assassin's Trophies to deal with some pesky permanents like Teferi, those sort of things. But our mana base is kind of like all the tap lands. We can still play Incubation Druid on 2 though and hope to just like get there from there. But we do have access to all 3 colors as well, which is pretty important. Another Incubation Druid's a good draw. We'll start on the Foul Orchard here. Most likely next turn we're just going to go Swamp into Incubation Druid, especially because he can't counter it here after playing the Evolving Wilds. I think we're just going to go... Having the additional forest, though, is pretty nice because it means that we're guaranteed to have double green for the Carnage Tyrant once it becomes Carnage Tyrant time, so that's pretty nice. Cracks the Evolving Wilds. And I think Carnage Tyrant, again, is just a fantastic card in this matchup because with them being Jeskai, they don't really have a ton of ways to deal with it. They just kind of have to hope for, like, maybe Cleansing Nova or double Deafening Clarion, but that's again still kind of like sketchy. So my guess is he's deciding right now between whether or not he should kill the Incubation Druid. Looks like he's going to decide against it. So potential counterspells that he could have here would be Ionize or Quench, something like that. He doesn't have double blue again for the Sinister Sabotage or anything like that. He doesn't have double blue for Absorb either. So I think I'm gonna run out the Nullhide Ferox here because I'm just gonna hope that the counter spells he has in his hand are maybe like the negate that he showed us before or something else, and then maybe we can just land this Ferox and then ride Ferox to victory. That would be pretty nice. But it looks like he's responding here with Seal Away on the Druid. Okay. Seems solid. So that prevents us from doing a ton of additional ramping, but we do get out the Nullhide Ferox, which again is just a key way for us to potentially win this. And we do have access to Assassin's Trophy, the Seal Away, if we want to, but I think there's just significantly more threatening cards in ExoticMTG's deck than like Seal Away, where we want to save these Assassin's Trophies for Teferi or something like that. And again, we would have to pay 2, which would open up our Nullhide Ferox to potentially, you know, get blown out by some removal there. We'll go with the Incubation Druid here. And then if this Incubation Druid resolves, which it does, so I guess if this Incubation Druid resolves and lives, then next turn we'll be able to land a Carnage Tyrant. Having basic planes as well is something to point out because it means he can't cast Niv Mizzet on 6 lands if he has it. There is the Teferi. So I think we're looking at Nullhide Ferox just knocking out Teferi here. And I think I'm actually going to just be a little bit more... Or actually, Spellbreaker is a great draw too. I guess we're going to go Spellbreaker instead. The decision is between adapting the Incubation Druid and playing the Gruul Spellbreaker. Because I don't think I actually want to play the Carnage Tyrant right now. I think I either want to attack with an Incubation Druid or attack with a Gruul Spellbreaker. This plays around like a second copy of Seal Away because it'll have Hexproof, so I think I'm just going to go with the Gruul Spellbreaker here. And we'll go ahead and give this guy haste. And we'll go to next. And Ferox is going to attack Teferi. Spellbreaker is going to come in here and attack ExoticMTG. And that should be okay. So Teferi's taken care of. He's down to 11, which is nice. Which technically, assume like he obviously doesn't, you know, just have nothing. But if he were to just have nothing, he would be dead on board next turn because Nullhide Ferox is 6. 3 from the Spellbreaker is 9, and then adapting Incubation Druid would be a total of 12, which would leave him dead. Second plane, so again, Niv Mizzet not a problem here. Probably like a Deafening Clarion based on how that man is tapped. Deafening Clarion, you got it. So Deafening Clarion does 2 for 1 us there, but again, we still have Nullhide Ferox in play. And if he goes for the second Deafening Clarion, he does have the second Deafening Clarion, okay. But again, I'm not super scared about that because this turn, if we hit an untapped land, we just go for the Carnage Tyrant. So if we can hit untapped land here on this draw step, that would be super, super clutch. And we hit a Spellbreaker instead. Well, Spellbreaker is still not bad. I think I am going to give it haste, though, because after seeing double Deafening Clarion, at most there could only be 2 more left in the deck, so I don't need to play around, you know, him only having 3 power to play around a Deafening Clarion. We're just going to go ahead and keep the aggression going. We'll go ahead and say next for the Spellbreaker, and we'll pass the turn. So now the play of Assassin's Trophy on Seal Away does get a little bit more interesting, because if we end of turn Assassin's Trophy on the Seal Away, then next turn we would be able to for sure play the Carnage Tyrant, which would be pretty important. Has another Teferi, okay. So Teferi is really... I think we're going to respond to the untap trigger here with the Assassin's Trophy, and we're just going to go ahead and Trophy Teferi and just get Teferi out of the way. It'll give him another land, which I'm assuming will either be an island or a mountain. He doesn't need any more plains. And if, again, Niv Mizzet would be the card that I'm most likely thinking about here, he would need triple red, triple blue. So now he has the triple blue, still needs another red source. Llanowar Elves is not bad, because now we can double spell if needed. We can play Llanowar Elves plus Assassin's Trophy. We'll go ahead and get in here for 3 with a Spellbreaker, potentially. I don't think that's going to work the way you want it to. As long as it's your turn, you and Gruul Spellbreaker have Hexproof. That's not going to work the way you want it to, unfortunately. So we do get in for 3 there. We'll play out the Llanowar Elves, and we will pass the turn. He did hit us up with the oops though afterwards, so all was right. As long as you acknowledge your mistakes and can learn from them, that's really what matters as a player. We're gonna go ahead and attack in. Is there any point in attacking with the Llanowar Elf? I don't think so, because I think we're just gonna go Spellbreaker. If he taps any sort of mana here, then we slam Carnage Tyrant, unless he kills the Llanowar Elves itself. What? Can I... Give me like... That's fine. Give me like 2 minutes, please. Alright, sorry about that. My mom had to come up and remind me that I have to go get my car after this game, so I might have to ask ExoticMTG if he's alright with taking a break on game 3 here for a second. Yeah, so he's going to concede here. Okay, so that'll probably be it for right now. You guys will see me come back with game 3 here. It'll still be part of this video, but I do have to call it quits for now. I'm going to go get my car from the shop because it had an oil change and I have to go pick it up. So again, I'll see you guys here with game 3 against ExoticMTG in just a second. Okay, now it's time for game 3. As you guys can tell by the fact that my sweatshirt changed from a gray color to an obnoxious bright blue color. It is several days later, but we've got a keepable hand here, a pretty solid one. It is a little bit awkward though, with Timbergorge being a tap land instead of just like basic mountain here. But I think this hand's alright. We'll go ahead and give it the keep. And it looks like ExoticMTG is going to start us off here. Or maybe he's still deciding whether to keep or mull. I think he's still deciding whether to keep or mull, so maybe we're on the play. I forgot to take a look when I saw it. Either way, should be a good one. We do have an interesting choice here, whether to start Timbergorge or whether to start Forest. I think I just have to start with the Llanowar Elf. Also, I apologize, it's lagging quite a lot, so I apologize for that. So the gameplay might be a little shaky there, but starts with the island into maybe an opt or something, since he's... No? Okay, just gonna pass the turn. Trophy's not bad. Unfortunately, we do have to just get in for 1 with our Llanowar Elf, and then we're gonna play the Timbergorge here. Going for 1 point of damage. And we'll play Timbergorge and pass the turn. See what we can do from here. There's the opt, like I said. And goes to the bottom and draws. Plays plains, passes the turn back. So I really want to jam this Rhythm of the Wild, but if the Rhythm of the Wild gets countered, then our hand looks pretty bad. Our hand is not great if it gets countered. So I think what I'm going to do here is just attack first. We'll see if he maybe wants to go for a seal away or something of that nature. I guess we're just going to jam out the Rhythm of the Wild. This ends the game the quickest if he doesn't have the answer for it, and he doesn't have the answer for it. Alright, we got there. Alright, has the full Jeskai, which is nice. We're gonna go ahead for... Is there a way? So I guess I could play around Quench by playing Mountain instead of Cinder Barrens. Because I'm gonna cast this Gruul Spellbreaker here. So I could play around Quench. I don't think I'm going to, though. I think I just want to play the Cinder Barrens so that we have access to Find Finality and Assassin's Trophy next turn. So we're just going to go ahead and start with the Spellbreaker, possibly getting countered here. That's not going to work the way you want it to. We got Rhythm of the Wild down here, so we're going to go with Haste and a +1/+1 counter. That's why Rhythm of the Wild is such a great card in this matchup. So then, now that he's tapped out, I can play the Cinder Barrens and just get in for 5. We'll go for the all attack. And that'll knock him down to 13 here. So again, we're in a pretty solid board state. He could have a lot of different pieces of interaction here, like maybe a Lava Coil on the Spellbreaker or something like that. Doesn't look like he did, though. So I think we're just going to go second verse, same as the first. We'll repeat with the attack for 5 here. And the attack for 5 is good. We'll play out a Mountain. And we're just going to pass the turn, holding up the Assassin's Trophy. Unfortunately, we're giving him quite a bit of time to make up for Teferi. Okay, sure. Teferi's fine. So we're going to let him draw the card, and then with the draw a card trigger on the stack, we're going to go ahead and do this Assassin's Trophy. Or actually, no. What we're going to do is we're going to wait until... We're not going to do it now because he has a higher chance of drawing a land here, where if we Assassin's Trophy now, the chances of him drawing a non-land card are higher than they would be right now. So what we're going to do is make him draw the card first, and then what we're going to do is respond to the untap trigger instead, or we could just go, yeah, we're going to respond to the untap trigger so that we're in his end step. And now we're going to go for the Assassin's Trophy here at the end. Again, I apologize for the screen being a little bit laggy here. I'll have to try and see if I can fix something. I've been thinking about investing into a solid gaming computer so that I can start doing more things like streaming and uploading gameplay and things like this. So let's see, that's 5. Merfolk Branchwalker, if it explores into a creature, or if it explores into something, could be lethal, as long as it doesn't explore into a land. He could have things like Shock, I guess. This extends more into a Deafening Clarion, I guess. But we would still be left with a Spellbreaker. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and play it out. We're going to try and go for the win here this turn, assuming he has no interaction. We have to go with haste, and then just hope that the Explore hits. And the Explore hits, we're going to go ahead and leave that on our library anyway, and then we're going to go ahead and attack in for 8 points of damage here, and again, hope that there's no interaction. Looks like there's no interaction, so we can go ahead and hit him with the GGs. Thank you, ExoticMTG, for the games. Thank you so much to you for watching this video. Thank you so much to everyone in the Content Creators Cup for being a part of this little event here. I'm really happy to be part of it, and we're off to a great start. 6-0 after our first 2 matches is pretty good. I still have 2 more matches to play out for the remainder of this month, this round, this challenge, whatever you want to call it. So again, if you're looking forward to seeing more gameplay like this in the future, be sure to watch these next couple of videos. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So again, thank you so much to you for watching this video. Thank you so much to everyone for being part of this fantastic event. And also thank you to CardSphere for being a fantastic sponsor of the channel. And now we're going to kick it to the outro, where I'm going to say thank you to my patrons. Hopefully you all enjoyed those games against fellow content creator ExoticMTG. Be sure to check out his channel as well. At the end of all of my videos, I'll do a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons over on the Patreon page. So huge shout out and thank you to Jeremy, Rodrigo, Jason, BadWolfMTG, and DownUnderMTG for supporting me over on the Patreon page. Greatly, greatly appreciated, and I'll see you guys here next time.